Weighing it at 5.85 ounces empty is the Platypus Big Zip LP reservoir. It's a 2-liter bladder, and I've had it for 6 years. So after 6 years of usage, here you go. Here's the review. Overall, I found this to be a wonderful 2-liter reservoir. Like I said, it lasted for 6 years. I bought it 6 years ago, March 2017, so just over 6 years ago. 67.5 fluid ounces. It's got a bite valve shutoff, which is actually quite convenient. So it has a valve itself, which is on or off. And then when it's open, you have to bite and use the valve that way. Large wide mouth top, which then has this clamp system, which secures the water, allows you to have a second kind of sealant on there other than the Ziploc type. This is like a compression lock, friction lock. Quick disconnect is the other thing that was cool about this. This is kind of a new feature back then, was the idea that you could fill your reservoir, have your tubing separate in your backpack, maybe perhaps in the shoulder strap. So overall, you know, I'll throw the overall data at the end, but this would I would consider to be a 7 overall. At the time, it was probably a 9. But things have evolved. You know, there's the failure and the bad downside to any type of bladder is that if it leaks at this failure point here, all your stuff, if you have a down sleeping bag, is wet. Now, I have never personally had this happen. I've had some water leak. I've had this thing come awake and the water in the tubing leak, and that's annoying, but that's not a game changer. If this thing were to fail, and this bag were to leak, that's a big problem. And I think once you have that problem once, it probably scares you for the rest of your life. So 2 years after the release of this bag in 2017, I bought a 3-liter version because I did like the make and model. They addressed it in a little different way. So they changed kind of the positioning, the way the valve is, and they put the mechanics of it up top, which I actually appreciate because after this, the sleeve is in the bag itself. You don't have a lot of room sometime if your bag's filled to get your arm in there to connect down there. So this is a welcome improvement, and they obviously made that. They also came up with a framing system that allows for a more rigid placement in your bag. And so I appreciate this as well. This prolongs the life of the bag itself. Seems like the same density or the same thickness polyethylene material. All of it's BPA free. Back to the 2 liters. So again, I never had this fail, but the tubing will over time fail. And yeah, so I'd say overall, this is a great system. I can't down the bag, the Platypus as a make or model. I think they have done a great job with the 2 that I've owned. What am I doing in the future? I don't know. I may be moving away from the bladder system altogether. I'm going to be experimenting. So over the next few months, we'll discover that. But to bring it all back together, would I have bought this again 6 years ago? Absolutely. I was very happy with it. I think for the time it was a 9. Now it's still high quality 7. I'll replace the tubing if it ever is going to get another day or 2 of real usage. And yeah, we'll move forward with it as a permanent piece until we find alternatives that replace it. Anyways, thank you for stopping by. OCD Backpacker out. It's rough out there. Love one another. Take care.